Hi, and welcome to the 7 Essentials for Developing a Holistic Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Strategy. We are DEI in a Box. My name is Caren Young.
And I'm Adriele Parker.
And we're going to walk you through 7 different ways of building a DEI strategy. And so for each of these ways we're going to go through, we'll talk about what exactly it is. We'll talk about how it shows up in your life and even give you some tips and tricks. So let's get started.
All right, so our first essential is buy-in, and simply put, buy-in just means support. So before you move ahead with any sort of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative, whether that's, rolling out trainings or workshops or coming up with program design, working on your strategy, it's super, super important that you have buy-in from folks. In particular, we're looking for buy-in from your leaders, from stakeholders, and ultimately anyone who's going to make a decision or influence the culture of your company.
Now, when we talk about buy-in, we're also not talking about every person being a part of every process. That's incredibly inefficient, and frankly, it slows down the work. But what you do need to have, oh my God, yes. But what you do need to have is you need to have the decision makers in a room. So when it's time to make the big decisions, especially things like budget, you need to have the person who can actually get the checks cut in the room and signing off on it. But that same person doesn't necessarily need to be there for every meeting that you have and for every decision. And in fact, trying to coordinate with that stakeholder will sometimes take longer than actually getting the work itself even done. But they do need to be there for the big decisions.
So important. I think also one of the things that I hear people come to us frequently about is like, how do I actually gain buy-in, right? Like, how do I convince a leader or a decision maker to do X? And I think it really boils down to you really learning each individual person and understanding what is going to move them, right? What's going to get them motivated and excited about what you're doing and convince them to support it. So for some people, we like to think of almost like head and heart, right? So for some people, it's the head, right? Where it's like, I want to see the data. I want to know the facts. Why are we doing this? Can you actually prove this? And then for other folks, it's the heart, right? It's, I have an experience or I heard a story or an anecdote that is relatable or that I can empathize with. And that is enough for me to want to support whatever diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives or strategy is being developed.
You don't need to necessarily have both. Again,
Right.
Like Adriele just said, for some folks, it really is more of like a head or logical decision. And that is absolutely okay. If the buy-in is, this is what everyone is doing now and it is the right thing for us to do, or this is what everyone's doing and we don't want to be called out, fine. That is just as good enough of a reason to at least get started. And you can then work with that person to make it a little less of a stick and more of a carrot. But whatever that reason is, getting that person to commit to doing the work, take whatever reason that is.
When it comes to gaining buy-in, make sure you're educating yourself, meaning learn what those folks, those stakeholders need, what's most important to them, and then really lean into that so that you can get the resources and support that you need. Any other final thoughts on buy-in, Caren?
I think that for buy-in, it always does help to have at least some data. I mean, fortunately, a lot of really, really great data is coming out now about the benefits of DEI and making the business case for DEI. So it's nice to have at least a little bit of something in your back pocket, just in case someone is asking, why should I care? So I think that that's important. And I think that also that decision makers may also kind of change over time. So the person who initially signed up for whatever reason might not be the person that's going to continue to carry it forward, but continuing to make your case will be something that is helpful all the way through.
Absolutely. Such a great point. Well, this has been the first of 7 essentials that are we think, imperative for building a truly comprehensive or holistic diversity, equity, and inclusion strategy. There will be more to come. We'll be doing short videos on all 7 of the essentials. But if you can't wait, you can go ahead and check the link in the description where we've linked the 7 essentials guide. And if you're looking for something a little bit more, robust or thorough, we definitely encourage you to check out and subscribe to Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, DEI in a box. We'll also be linking that information below as well. All right, until next time.
Bye.